Good evening. How are you? My name's Keegan. I may not be able to do this for very long today. It's starting to sprinkle where I am, and I'm not afraid of the rain, but I only have one phone. If that gets damaged, this journey's cut short. But I do want to talk about something, and I may be a little frantic, but there have been some developments that I think are very important. It's not always the wisest decision to talk about a subject before you have all the facts, but I think things are moving fast these days, and well, I'm gonna go ahead and be reckless anyway. So first I want to touch on the whole idea that I've already talked about in another video, that I talk about regularly in my personal life, is that in 4 weeks the Supreme Court will be deciding on the citizenship matter, and they could potentially be giving the power to the executive to determine who is and isn't a citizen, which would allow Donald Trump to effectively make it so that a bunch of people can't vote. I don't think I need to explain that, the danger of that. But now we couple that with what started to go down within the past day or two. First, we have a assassination attempt. A drone flying over the clown show a few days ago at the White House. I think the line being given is that it was something like a planning operation, and their blame so far, as as I understand from everything I read, is that saying it's Antifa. And if anybody who pays attention already knows, they've already described this group as a terror organization. Now we come to, in Minneapolis, several people being arrested. Same with people who have protested at Delaney Hall. And to tack on another piece of information to that, you have a criminal investigation apparently being conducted against Gavin Newsom and his wife. I don't think all these things happening at once are a coincidence. And if you do, well, I wish I was that naive. But I'm not. And I'm very nerve-wracked. This could be a moment, I'm not saying that it is, but this could be a moment where everything turns on its head. You know? We could wake up in like a week, a day, a month, and they'll have detained Gavin Newsom. Keep in mind, California is a bastion against Trump. And not only that, Gavin Newsom, at the moment at least, is the most likely candidate to win for the Democrats in the presidential election. What better a target to lock away than him? And I wonder to myself, what should be done about that? You know? Like, what's the right answer? And that's not entirely rhetorical, because I'm just one man and I don't have all the answers. I don't even think I have some answers. But what I know is that two things could happen. I'll tell you what I think is the most likely scenario. We can disregard all the other things I've brought up, and we focus strictly on Newsom. They decide to detain him. They go and arrest him. Now, what I think is going to happen is a lot of people will wait and see. Let's wait and see. Maybe they found something. Let's wait and see. Yeah, okay. Maybe. You really believe that? At this point, do you believe anything that comes out of the federal government? Because I don't. Not a goddamn word. So, what happens if we wait and you see, and it is a kangaroo court, and Newsom is locked away unjustly? Then it's over. Then There is no... We can't pretend that this is the United States of America anymore, at least not the way that most of us grew up in it. However brief the time was that I got to enjoy this country as a fully functioning democracy, I did get to enjoy it for a little while. But, in my opinion, if they decide to detain Newsom, somebody should do something about that. You know? In my opinion, these people are already at war. How many people have died at the hands of this fascist cult? How many less of us are there to fight? And the longer this goes on, the more of us are gone. And the more of them there are compared to us. Our numbers could be thinning. Newsom's a potential leader. Leadership's important in any movement. Doesn't matter what kind. Targeting leadership, then the grunts become scattered, unorganized. Sometimes they start to eat themselves. Or just the fact that they're detaining so many people, or even just the people who have been dying. All those people are people who can no longer fight. They're gone. They're out of the fight. These people have been at war with us. I don't know why anyone would pretend that otherwise. But it is the case. And it's happening now. And it's escalating. It's no coincidence that the 4th of July is coming up. 250 years of this great democracy. Yeah? Well, look how they're marking it. Look what they're doing. It should concern all of you. It concerns me. So, if they go and they try and detain Newsom, what do we do? Like I said, in my opinion, we're already at war. There's just a lot of people who haven't caught up or are scared into inaction. I can't completely blame them, but that's a costly reaction. Excuse me. And you couple it with everything else that's going on at the same time. It will be a successful coup. It has to be stopped. In my opinion, there's only one way to stop something like that. And I don't know how ready people are for that kind of a conversation. Well, I actually don't think anyone is ready for that kind of a conversation. At least not enough people. Even I'm not fully prepared for that kind of outcome. You know, I don't have access to a great deal of resources. I don't have influence. I don't reach a lot of people. And even the people in my own life, you know, kind of think all these hypotheticals are ridiculous, but they're not hypotheticals. They happen. They are happening, and they're getting worse. And it's happening fast. And it's no coincidence that it's happening as the midterms are coming up. You know, call everyone who speaks out, Antifa, which they've already described as a terror organization. You could arrest them all. And then in 4 weeks, if the Supreme Court decides that the executive has the power to determine who is and isn't a citizen, that's another chunk of people that they can get rid of. And it's over. Power is theirs. Then they'll be the only ones in office. And they can do something like, I don't know, vote to grant the president powers. Every power. Make him an absolute ruler. This only ends one way. And that's an unfortunate reality, but I don't think anyone can argue that this ends any other way. Well, they can, but they'd be wrong. And if you ask them, you know, prove it to me. They have nothing but feelings. And I'm not talking about them. I'm not talking about the people who are already in the cult. You can't get them out. They're gone. You may be able to scratch a few off the edges, but What point is that? What good does that serve? None, in my opinion. Unfortunately, I am pretty utilitarian in the sense that I think that we have to do what's best for the majority rather than the minority. And what's best for the majority is the MAGAs have to be dealt with. No matter how many few of them can be broken off from the group. Whoever's in now, they're in. They're Jonestown. I've said this before, that the MAGAs operate very much like the Nazis did. But I don't think that their leader, he doesn't operate much like Adolf did. In my opinion, he's got a lot more common with Benito Mussolini. The bravado, the showmanship, all of it empty. I mean, really, if you were walking down the street and Trump was just a regular guy, didn't have power or anything, he'd buckle. He'd fold like paper origami if you threatened him. Because he's a coward. That's what men like him are. That's what they all are. All of them. They just have a bunch of foolish men willing to do things on their behalf. And they will do things on their behalf. Horrible things. They already have, and it will continue. Even I feel like I've not done enough. Anything I try to do. Again, I don't have a lot of resources. I'm a man of very meager means. And the people in my immediate life, they just don't seem to be with it. So I am somewhat on an island. At least where I am. But this is the kind of thing where even if you are alone, even if you stand alone, you have to. You have to. As long as one person still stands against tyranny, there is hope. So, I leave you all with that message. Pay very close attention. This could be the moment. Good luck to you all. Again, I'm Keegan. And be safe.